President on inflation that? Do you think inflation is a political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
I am old enough, meaning that I am 4 weeks old, okay? I'm 4 weeks old. I'm older than 4 weeks, all right? Because I am old enough to remember when a man called in to Joe Brandon on Christmas and said, "Dear Joe Brandon, let's go Brandon." And then Joe Brandon said on Christmas, because he doesn't know the Let's Go Brandon chant, because he's kept in such a nursing home bubble in the White House, Joe Brandon said, "Let's go Brandon, I agree." You remember that?
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree. Hey, by the way, where are you in Oregon? Where's your home?
Now, the reaction to "Let's Go Brandon, I agree," the reaction to that, the guy whose name is Jared Schmeck, he's a father from Oregon, called up Joe Biden. We've had him on the show. The reaction to that from the left was, I'm going to try not to yell because I have a little itch in my throat, so I'm going to try not to yell on the show, but the reaction was meltdown. Do you remember? Right-winger uses slur and curses at the president, says, "Let's go Brandon." Rah! Everyone screamed and they raged and they said, "How could you do that to kindly old Joe Brandon? How could you do it? We want better in politics. We need to strive for more. We need to strive for a simpler, quieter time, a time of unity, and a time of less swearing," right? Joe Biden isn't about swearing. And they went after this dad, this dude, Jared Schmeck, who's awesome, by the way. We're huge fans of him. They went after this father and attacked him and viciously, savaged the man. And then the same people yesterday watched a clip of Joe Biden not using a slur, not using a funny internet chant, which is what "Let's Go Brandon" is, not using a meme, which is what happened to him. He got memed, right? He got sucked into the meme world. They watched Joe Biden literally call a Fox News reporter for asking him a question about inflation, the most important question in the country today, because inflation undergirds the entire value of our economy, the value of our dollar. If we can even, what's the most important question? Our border? Our military? None of it's possible without having a strong dollar. Then you truly lose this country. Then our country becomes a third world country overnight. So Peter Doocy asked about inflation. And then Joe Brandon, for the audacity of Peter Doocy practicing something we used to call journalism in this country, Joe Brandon calls him an SOB. We try to have a family show here, so we're not going to say the words, but you can watch right here on your screen the clip one of Joe Brandon, the man who's above swearing, right? Calling a reporter directly to his face. I mean, you hear it clear as a bell. A SOB. Watch.
Would you say President on inflation that? Do you think inflation is a political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. So Joe Biden says to Peter Doocy that you are an SOB for asking questions. Now, Peter Doocy is often the guy in the press pool who's doing the singular role that he's supposed to be doing there, which isn't to be Joe Biden, the using his tongue to clean the mud off the bottom of Joe Biden's boots, right? The rest of the press corps are quite literally and enigmatically making North Koreans jealous of the fact that they have such a compliant press corps. The North Koreans are sitting there polishing their new nuclear weapons, watching the American press going, how do we get that? How do we get that compliant? With the exception of one person, Peter Doocy, and the occasional Newsmax reporter. We're proud to be part of the Newsmax family on this show. They are watching Peter Doocy and saying, wow, who's that? What's he doing? It's called journalism. It's called practicing journalism. And the left used to say that they're for this, right? You remember in the Trump era, you would have Jim Acosta screaming, why do you eat babies? You know, or whatever, right? Whatever Jim Acosta would scream that day. Why are my diapers wet? Jim Acosta would scream that at President Trump everywhere he went, right? Everywhere he went. Why, you know, like, why did I go number 2 in my pants? And so Jim Acosta would yell that at Trump, and Trump would say, you have fake news, you suck, shut up, gotta go see the fake news. And Donald Trump would say that and move along. And then what would happen is Jim Acosta would go wall to wall. On every Sunday show, on every CNN show, you could take gondolas down the streets of Washington, D.C. I know it because I was living there at the time. Gondolas down the streets of Washington, D.C. in the tears, the flooding tears that came from Jim Acosta's weeping on cable news about the attacks on the free press.
To some extent, you know, the president, Fox News, they don't have Barack Obama around anymore. They don't have Hillary Clinton, although the president goes after Hillary Clinton a lot, so does Fox News. And so we've sort of replaced Obama and Hillary. They need somebody to attack.
Okay. And then what do you get? What do you get last night with the president of the United States? But by the way, something Donald Trump did not physically do. Face to face, Donald Trump never did this. Face to face calls him an SOB. I'd like to hear what Peter Doocy's mother thinks about that, by the way. Like, what does Peter Doocy's mom think about that? Peter Doocy's dad is also on Fox News. He does the morning show. And so there you have the president right to the face, as audible as you can hear me right now, saying that Peter Doocy's a SOB. So what is Peter Doocy's response? We want to play it for you. This is a complete class act. Here is the initial response from Peter Doocy right after the fact, minutes after he's called this by the president. Let's play clip 2.
I think we have young Mr. Doocy with us right now. You heard Dana's comments and everyone's comments, Peter. Have you been called by the White House or the president and asked to come to the Oval Office tomorrow for an interview?
No. And I don't think that that's coming either. But what's crazy about this is in the longer version of the clip, there was a group of reporters that were all gathered. We listened to him explain the Competition Council, which is the reason that he's having this meeting with most of the cabinet. And somebody shouted out a question about Russia, and the president said, I'm not going to take questions right now about anything off topic. So I shouted out something that's not on my 2 pages of questions about crime. Okay, what about inflation? Do you think inflation is a political liability in the midterms? And then he said that, and I couldn't even hear him because people were shouting at us to get out. But somebody came up to me in the briefing room a few minutes later and said, did you hear what the president said? And I said, no, what? They said, he called you a stupid SOB. And I said, did he say SOB? And the person said, no.
He did the elongated version.
You know? Prime time?
Yep.
So, Doocy, I think the president's right. You are a stupid SOB.
Yeah, nobody has fact-checked him yet and said it's not true.
No one's given Pinocchios for that one. No, but so you're now, I guess, everyone's talking about you. You're going to be known as the stupid SOB guy. I mean, before you were like the hair guy with the blonde hair. Now you're stupid SOB. Is this something you're embracing, Peter?
Do I have a choice?
I don't think so. I mean, I think you just have to walk around for the rest of your career as the stupid SOB.
Aww.
No, but it is something great that you were called and named by a president.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that that will be in the history books.
Yeah, I think that
if we still have them.
And Peter, you might already have like a book title.
Yes.
Right? Or a chapter title at least. I do have a question. This happened last week with Jackie Heinrich. Happened again today. Like, is there something going on at the White House where there's more press availabilities that you're getting these hot mic moments, or is there just a lot of pressure because of everything that's going on? Do you notice anything different?
Well, you know, the White House and the communications officials here had been signaling last week when they had their first year in office anniversary that they were going to take a different approach with reporters. And we thought that meant after he did the 2-hour press conference, oh, well, he's just going to be available for Q&A more often. But maybe it's more stuff like this.
Might be.
Well, it's good that you can smile.
Well, if I don't smile, I'm just going to be a ball of tears, and I can't because I have to do a hit with Brett Baer in 10 minutes. So.
All right, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Dude, I got to tell you, I would be so proud if Peter Doocy was my son. I'm a father, and watching him, He is a class act. Now, I've chilled with Peter Doocy before in Washington, D.C. The reporter circles are small. Peter Doocy is, I wouldn't call him like a friend, but I would say that I've been able to engage with him socially in the past. This guy's a really nice person. No arrogance, no effrontery. That he clearly comes from a family that's had a very successful time in broadcast, but the way to being and staying successful is staying humble. What an incredible response. Peter Doocy was the only guy ever asking Joe Biden tough questions on the campaign. And through all of that and all the hissing, the thing you don't see is that the entire press corps turns on Peter Doocy, right? The entire press corps hisses at him. They hate the fact they are all part of the regime. They hate the fact that there's one guy who's actually practicing journalism, and he's killing them with kindness. He really is. What a class act that dude is. What an incredible way to respond. He said, hey, there hasn't been a fact check that I'm a dumb SOB, right? You gotta love it. And this is, by the way, like what Peter Doocy's like behind the scenes. Super chill, super humble, super nice dude. And honestly, I guess I'm just like so proud of the fact that he's just like his stock in Peter Doocy is going through the roof. Fox is lucky to have him. He's done an amazing job, and the job wasn't finished yet. In fact, Peter Doocy, that very same night, received a phone call from Joe Biden himself. A phone call from Joe Biden himself. Peter Doocy went on Fox News late last night, I think it was the 10 o'clock hour, and he said, hey, Joe Biden just called me. Do you want to hear what Joe Biden said to me? What did Joe Brandon say when he gives Peter Doocy a phone call on his cell phone? It sounds like pretty shocking. I've never heard of Joe Biden doing this. You may remember trying to get the illegal and unconstitutional voter fraud forever bill done. Joe Biden famously didn't even call a single Republican to try and vote for it. Didn't call a single Republican, but Joe Biden picked up the phone, probably a rotary phone or a record player, and well, he definitely had someone dial the number for him, and then said into the phone call this to Peter Doocy. Peter Doocy said so. Let's play the clip. It's clip 10. Peter Doocy talking to Hannity about the phone call he had with Joe Biden that night.
Stupid son of a bitch. Mr. Unity strikes again. In all seriousness, Joe Biden really shouldn't be casting stones from an extremely fragile glass house. Here with reaction, Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy, who has an update on the story. First, what was your reaction? Words don't matter to me. I remember during the Trump years, everybody would feign the vapors. Oh, the president said this. I think I know you pretty well. You're a pretty tough guy. What was your reaction initially when you heard what happened?
My reaction, Sean, was delayed because, as you can see in that clip, the Biden staff were ushering us out. They were telling us, okay, thank you, time to go. And you can see right there, people are just starting to move towards the door, myself included. It wasn't until we went to the basement and then outside and then back to the press room that somebody said, hey, did you hear what the president said about you? I said, no. What did he say? He said he called you a stupid SOB. And I was thinking, I did not hear that. And I went downstairs and I opened up my phone and he did. And so my response was delayed. But Sean, and we have some news tonight. After years of clips of the president and I kind of mixing it up on the campaign trail and during the transition and here at the White House, within about an hour of that exchange, he called my cell phone and he said, it's nothing personal, pal. And we went back and forth and we were talking about just kind of moving forward. And I made sure to tell him that I'm always going to try to ask something different than what everybody else is asking. And he said, you've got to. And that's a quote from the president, so I'll keep doing it.
All right, I want to be your negotiator here. And I would like to negotiate a 20-minute sit-down with you and Biden, one-on-one. I think that would be, you know, I'm a Christian. I believe in forgiveness. Okay. Did he apologize?
He cleared the air, and I appreciate it.
All right, so Joe Biden tells Peter Doocy there in the clip, hey, nothing personal, pal. Nothing personal. It does. I mean, you can tell this is a true story because it's literally exactly how Joe Biden would talk. Nothing. Hey, who am I talking with? Corn Pop? Who am I talking with? Corn Pop? Hey, listen, you can't use any of the napalm in the diving board. Make sure that Vladimir Putin knows it's a minor incursion. You had a minor incursion into my press conference, pal. You were a son of a ballot box, and now it's next for no problem, pal. That's exactly how the conversation went. I have a source that leaked me that exact transcript. So, Joe Biden says, nothing personal, pal. When you call him an SOB, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy it because Joe Biden, much like 4 or 5 or 7 different times this week, has had to go back when he's shoved his own diseased foot with the kind of like horrific, like the horrific old person, like disgusting, smelly foot. He's shoved his own foot like up his own mouth. Joe Biden's had to walk back comments on Ukraine this week. Joe Biden's had to walk back comments on the election this week. And now Joe Biden's having to walk back calling a reporter an SOB. Joe Biden doesn't like Peter Doocy. It's pretty obvious. This is clip 3, ladies and gentlemen. Clip 3, Joe Biden complained about Peter Doocy's job as a reporter last week. He just didn't curse at him. Let's play the clip.
How many more hours am I doing this? I'm happy to stick around. You always ask me the nicest questions. I know you do.
All right.
None of them make a lot of sense to me, but
Well, let's try.
Fire away. Come on.
A new year. Why are you trying so hard in your first year to pull the country so far to the left?
Well, I'm not. I don't know what you consider to be too far to the left. If, in fact, we're talking about making sure that we had the money for COVID, making sure we had the money to put together the bipartisan infrastructure, making sure we were able to provide for those things that, in fact, would significantly reduce the burden on working class people, but they have to continue to work hard. I don't know how that is pulling it to the left. If you may recall, you guys have been trying to convince me that I am Bernie Sanders. I'm not. I like him, but I'm not Bernie Sanders. I'm not a socialist. I'm a mainstream Democrat, and I have been. And mainstream Democrats have overwhelmed. If you notice, the 48 of the 50 Democrats supported me in the Senate on virtually everything I've asked.
Thank you for watching. We are 100% independent news. Are you sick of being lied to? We certainly are. That's why we started this channel. But we can't do it without you. We can't keep going without your help. All we ask is that you click like and subscribe and share this video. It's free and it keeps us going. It keeps us growing. It keeps us getting the truth out there to break the rotted corporate media infrastructure that wants to lie to you every single day, wants to corrupt your narratives, your truth, your story, and your very society. So support us by clicking like, clicking subscribe, and thank you, Patriots.